Live from Las Vegas, broadcasting around the world. You're listening to Up is Higher Than Down with L.A. Walker. L.A. Walker. Raw and unfiltered conversations on how to give life's challenges the finger. Truth is your passport to emotional freedom. Give an eviction notice to negativity. Dump yesterday's garbage. Learn how to be positive, energized, healthy, and alive during these insanely unpredictable times. Look up, get up, stay up. Then help somebody else to get up. Remember, any part of up is higher than down. Now, broadcasting hope to the world. L.A. Walker.
Hi, how are you doing today? Great? Great. As long as you know that, everything is good. But just remember that if you're great, great is an enviable position. That's right. Everybody wants a little piece of your greatness. So if you go around saying that you're great, get prepared to protect your greatness. Absolutely. But if you're not great, if you're going through something, if you're not happy, if you're having difficulties in just navigating everyday life, that's okay too. Because remember, any part of up is higher than down. Grab your up and hold on. I'm excited because we have some upcoming guests that are just going to blow your mind. Not just because of their transparency, but the ease of transparency. It's like they're all excited to share to help someone else to get up. And let me tell you this, we all need a booster shot sometimes to get up. And not just to get up, but to stay up. That's right. And my good friend Tasha Marvin will be back as we attempt to complete our book, Dating After Death. Oh my gosh. And those of you who have followed us a little bit know that when we get together, it is always a mess. It is always a good time and it's always a laugh. So get prepared. Our focus when we meet with you, I think next week, will be about loneliness. Oh, word. Loneliness can get you into so much trouble. And we're going to talk about loneliness as it relates to selecting the wrong person to break that cycle of loneliness with, a narcissist. Oh, you don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss this. I'll be back with our next guest right after this. Sky D. Miles, a Las Vegas award-winning entertainer, presents Carmen's Love Brunch every Sunday from noon until 3. Enjoy gospel music that will lift your spirits and stir your soul, get you ready for the week. You know what I mean? Enjoy the best of soul food. It's blessed and highly flavored. Get your tickets online at www.thecomposersroom.com. That's www.thecomposersroom.com. Carmen's Love Brunch. The Composer's Room is located within the Las Vegas Historic Commercial Center.
You're listening to Up is Higher Than Down with L.A. Walker.
I have my friend talking with me today, and my dear friend Linda Simpson, and I'm going to tell you something before this airs in your car or in your home. This is an adult conversation about some very real feelings that caregivers have during the process of attempting to administer good care. And especially if you are a care partner, what is the distinction? Care partners are those persons who are directly related to that person who's directly affected by dementia. A wife, a husband, a daughter, really a good friend, someone who is greatly impacted more so than someone who is attending to a person affected by dementia, let's say like in a facility or a memory care community, who's totally unrelated to that individual. The relationship dynamic is altogether different, and the expectations of care partners are great. So let's talk about who's Linda. Who is Linda? Who is Linda? Where does Linda come from? What makes up Linda?
I wasn't ready for that question.
But why is that a difficult question? Because it is for me too. Whenever I get interviewed and somebody says, well, who is LA? I'm like, I don't know, who is LA?
Well, I'm a very straightforward, fun-loving, gregarious, very kind-hearted, hilarious person who don't put up with nobody BS, and been through a lot of crap in my life, and I just looking for peace. I'm retired. I'm a caregiver. I'm a dog mom, and I love my dogs. They're my fur babies, not dogs. They're part of the family. I love sports. I'm a Raider fanatic. I go to every game. I love music. I am a music aficionado if it's very good music. I used to love to dance, but I don't have a dance partner anymore because my husband is sick. He ain't doing that no more. I still love to go out and have a good time whenever possible, and I do go out and have fun whenever possible.
What was your occupational specialty in the military and your career path after?
Well, you know how it is in the military. When you first enlisted, they sign you up for one thing, and then once you get to your first permanent duty station, they change you out and have you doing something else. I was enlisted in the Navy. They initially trained me to be an electrician.
Oh, wow.
Then when I was going through the initial training of being an electrician, I was offered the opportunity to be a fighter pilot, but I turned that down because the part of the training exercises and stuff, I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then I re-enlisted, and they sent me through the military police academy. I was a Navy police officer. I went for 12 weeks before I was sent to Diego Garcia, where I met my husband. I went there and was a member of their police force until I wasn't on the police force anymore. That's another long story I won't talk about now. And that's when I met my... I had to go to another department. I met Elliot there. And after the Navy, I came here because we decided we were going to live here. And I ended up with the post office, and then I went to Department of Homeland Security after 9/11 because I was so, no, you're not going to come to my country and do that because I'm, a Navy veteran. Took it personal. No, you're not going to do that. And I wanted to make sure it never, ever happened again. So I went from the post office to the Department of Homeland Security and became an intelligence officer / counterterrorism expert.
Get out of here. So I know somebody with brains, too.
Beauty and brawn, because I've been trained too well.
Wow, that's a lot, Linda.
I keep me around because I'm such a great administrator. After we started working together, I had something. I was overzealous about a lot of stuff, or that's another long story. So he just came to work and did nothing because I was doing his job and mine because I had something to prove to myself. And he said, "Oh, I'm gonna keep you around. You're great. You know how to do all this stuff." And he still keeps me around to take care of crap because on his side of the bathroom, it says that you are my happily ever after, and now happily ever after is now falling apart. Devastatingly painful to see it end. And I'm so young and youthful and full of life and so much more to give. And ain't gonna be another him. He get me. We got each other. When you find somebody that get you, that's rare. It's
very rare. I'm fresh. I mean, it's been 4 years for me since my spouse passed.
Right.
We were together for 30 years. And my best friend, best sexual partner, best spiritual partner, best laugh partner, you know?
Yep, everything.
Affectionate, complimentary, trustworthy.
All of that.
Yeah,
All that.
all of that. I want to touch on something about the moving on part because obviously most of us think in terms of transition, person dying. The reality of it is, though, when you're with someone with dementia that you've known all your life and loved and shared with, watching them decline is a death. And it's an ongoing death. And that's what
You are. Yep. Yep.
so
yep.
painful. It's so painful. Yeah. How long has he been diagnosed with dementia?
About 4 or 5 years, but I knew he's probably had it about 20 years.
Really?
The thing about what people don't understand, I've been doing a lot of research and doing my own due diligence and asking a whole bunch of questions and reading books and stuff. My paternal grandmother had dementia in the 80s when I was in college in Philly, and I was her caregiver, and I was her only daughter, my aunt. And I watched her die from dementia. Back then, they only knew it was dementia. They didn't have it broke down the different types. Oh, my God, it's just so devastating. And so now, this time around, it's like, well, it's my husband. 40 years later, and it's a completely different scenario.
Oh, I get it.
And
I get it.
Once you watch the love of your life, your best friend, everything that you've been with for almost 40 years, by the time they take that last breath, you've already mourned their death. You've already grieved their death.
Absolutely.
This man I'm living with now is not my husband. He's not the same man he was. He is very much aware of that himself. He does things and says things sometimes that's totally dementia related, and once he comes to his own senses, he comes to me and apologizes and stuff. It's like, I hate it. He hates what this disease does to him, what it makes him do, the things that makes him, what he thinks, the thoughts he has. And he constantly tells me every day, it's so unfair to you that you have to go through this.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But if you mourn them while they going through it, so by the time they, like I said, time to take their last breath and you bury them, you're over it. It's like, okay, good, I can get on with my life.
Pretty much, and that's sad in itself. And there's a guilt. You haven't crossed there yet, but my experience is that yes, I was like, whew, but that only lasted for 5 minutes because I'm telling you, there was such an absence in my life. I couldn't believe that I could feel that empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Soul, your heart, you can't think of nothing, can't do nothing, and sometimes people be asking me about earlier, and I just break down the cry. I don't want to talk about it because it's just too painful.
Right. No, I get it.
Knowing what's coming.
Rolling the tape back a little bit for us. And when I asked you how long had he been diagnosed with dementia, and you went with 5 years diagnosis, but you had through life noticed 20 years ago that there was something going on. That is quite common, and I just wanted to revisit that. I had a similar situation with my spouse, and that was diagnosed 5 years before passing, but we knew 5 years before the diagnosis. And so that was 10 years. And here's the thing that I want to say now. At my age, even though it's a void for me and it's uncomfortable and it's painful, even looking back, the memories and things and the absence are painful, I really have more sympathy and concern for those persons who are in their 40s who have become the chosen caregivers or / care partners for their parents or their spouse with early onset. Because, if you're 40 to 45 years old and you lose 10 years of your life, that's a lot. That is a lot.
We're between ages of 40 and 50-something is the prime earning years for adults. between the ages of 40 and 65, the highest earning part of your life. So you lose out on a lot of revenue for your retirement because you have to take time off. You may have to take a leave of absence, all of that.
All of that. For me, it hit me in a different way. I wasn't working for anyone outside of the home. I had retired. However, I was very active with social issues theater and, writing plays and developing shows. And I had just hit that spot where I had achieved an audience. I was able to pick up the phone and call some singers and politicians and things like that. And I was on the dime. I was on the move. I was because my spouse helped me through everything. And then as that transition came, I was unable to manage. I just could. And so emotionally, that did something to me that I didn't even realize had happened until she passed. I didn't.
You hit on something very important because I feel myself metamorphosing now. This is fundamentally changing me as an individual, and I feel it happening. I know it's happening, and I am doing everything I can to hold on to the essence of me, so I don't lose out in this process, because I know it's happening.
So let me tell you a little inside story, and this is the first time I've said any of this publicly, that when my spouse died June of 2020, and so, that was high COVID. It was as we were all messed up. Everything was messed up.
Right.
I was living and had moved to a senior complex because she had begun wandering, and also she was unable to cook. I had to get the stove away from her, and then I was tired of cooking 3 times a day. So I moved us to a senior place, blah, blah, blah. Well, COVID hit. Now she passed. I can't get out of the senior place. I'm locked in like a prisoner because they don't want anybody out or in, right? So I had a couple of friends, this is the truth, that would literally come to the driveway, and I would be allowed to step outside the door, but I had to stay in the driveway. I had to have on a mask, and the person that was visiting me had to have on a mask, and that's how we communicated. Through those masks, standing there as an adult person, I was on lockdown like a criminal.
I know. Everybody was, baby.
But what happened was a friend of mine had suggested, 2 friends suggested, hey, come on out. There's a new build out, a new apartment complex. Never seen anything like it before. Come take a look. So I started going out to their meet and greets on Fridays, and it was just wonderful. Nothing was built. The plan was for a restaurant. They actually did open the restaurant. That had to be the toughest business decision that they ever made, and that was to spend all of their money not knowing if they were going to get any of it back, just to live up to the commitment that they had made to us and to not see us suffer without any way of communicating with other people during COVID. And so
that was a face.
Oh my God, they're wonderful. Bob and Winnie Schulman of Schulman Properties. I will tell anybody. In fact, I'll go over. I wrote a book, a collected commentary from other residents who were in the same situation and appreciated the efforts that they made. You know that wonderful feeling you have when you're on vacation and you're staying at a luxurious resort, and you probably say to yourself, I don't want to go home. Well, now you don't have to. You can move to Illumina on Raiders Way and enjoy resort-style living every single day. There are just so many amenities at Illumina on Raiders Way. Saltwater pools with lounge chairs inside, oversized day beds in cabanas that have refrigerators and televisions, 29 by 17 foot outdoor cinema screen, everything that you need to work from home, including a podcast studio with special lighting, and Lexi's Bistro right on the premises with chef-inspired dishes, craft drinks, and gaming. You can't lose with Illumina on Raiders Way. Call today, make an appointment, and take that tour, 702-919-7243. Make sure you let them know that you heard about Illumina on Raiders Way from me, LA, 702-919-7243, Illumina on Raiders Way.
You're listening to Up is Higher Than Down with L.A. Walker.
But anyway, so here we were. We had all these great relationships. We would sneak out together and take a limousine and go places. We would mask. We just enjoyed each other. Well, but after COVID, so I was getting over it. But after COVID lifted, everybody got up and went their separate ways because people had businesses and families and things that they needed to attend to. Linda, that's when I started breaking down. So I had a delayed breakdown.
I had that life time when everything was on lockdown and everything was opening back up and people were getting back to their normal lives, trying to get our life back, and you were left like treading water, if you will. And I know that feeling. You're like you're treading water. It's like, can somebody just throw me a rope or something?
Because it was like I was in the alternate universe. Nothing was real. No, I didn't know where I was. I didn't understand where I was emotionally.
Because you're all over the place. Your mind, you're emotionally and mentally, you're all over the place. And then until she had passed, you said in June of 2020?
Yep.
So, yeah, that was just a couple of months after all of that, the restaurant and all that. And he's like, wow.
It was.
Damn.
It was a lot. So I want, now that we have said all of that, you know that I'm working with my co-writer and co-executive director, Marcia Norris, on a program entitled Enable Me Theater. And it's for exactly what we're talking about right now. It's allowing caregivers and / care partners to have a conversation out loud so they can hear it. And so that the others that they're with can hear it. And there's a validation and there's comfort in knowing that someone else is going through a similar situation as yourself.
Right.
But then not just commiserating, but finding modalities that will help individuals find their way through a tender moment. So let's go back. Example, you said your husband wakes up in the morning and he starts looking for things. He's looking for keys. He's looking for this. Okay. So learning how to try different things and different ideas being presented to you on how to handle a situation like that.
Well, what I did, I got them air trackers. I put one in his wallet, put it on his keychain, his phone I can get. So those things, I find them. I said, okay, baby, as soon as I get up, I will find your stuff. We know it's in the house. It's not missing. You just don't know exactly where it is at this moment. Put your hand on it. But as soon as I wake up, get out of bed, I will show it to you, okay? And then you'll be okay. And so I talk to him like that. It calms him down. And when I get up, I grab my phone, go to my app, and find his stuff and shows it to him. And he calms down. And then I can go on and get our day started because he's good to go right now. So, yeah, I'm still learning other things and other ways to keep me calm where I can respond and react to him appropriately so it does not escalate him.
Yeah, because sometimes you have to tell a lie.
Exactly.
Sometimes, you got to use the St. Peter rule of getting through a tough situation. You just got to lie. You got to
get through it. They was trying to say with a smile on your face.
You got to tell them, say, baby, I know exactly where your keys are. I know exactly where your keys are, and I will get them in about 20 minutes after I just get this little bit of sleep out. I know where they are. And then when they're not there, because when they're not going to be there, Linda, but when you get there, you're like, I forgot. That will give him some entertainment for a minute that you are the one that's forgetting. And that's part of our program, which I don't want to go into too many details about it yet, but the part of our program is called role reversal. Because you have a side.
You're acting skills for sure.
Right. You have a side, and the person that you're caring for, they have a side. Now, you can articulate your side. They may not be able to articulate their side the way they want to, the way they're actually feeling it.
And when you've been with somebody for so long, you can see it in their face.
Oh, absolutely.
Their actions,
Sure.
their body language, you don't have to say anything. I can tell.
Does he have things to do during the day? Do you give him purpose? Have you found things that you can get him to do that will be within his abilities, that will also obviously keep him safe, but let him feel like he's doing more? Because that's really, really important. Let me tell you a little story. So there are restaurants in Japan, I think just a few restaurants in Japan, where the persons that have dementia are providing wait services. And so on the menu, there may be, let's say, 15 items. The person who has dementia is going to the table, taking the order, and bringing the food back. They have a disclaimer. People know about these restaurants. They go to have that experience with that individual. And here's what they're told. You may order oxtails, but you might get shrimp fried rice. And so the people, though, that are there, they very often come in, not just a person of one, but maybe 2 to 4 persons. It's an enjoyment to them because they realize that they are assisting a person who normally would have no purpose in life. When you don't have a purpose, you dissipate quickly because life is all about purpose. What am I doing? Why am I up? Why am I here? What am I supposed to do today?
Something that's extremely crucial to human beings, period. And particularly with a man from my husband's upbringing point of view, he'll be 80 this year. And people from that generation, men, that was embedded in them from the time they were born.
Absolutely.
You're the man. And, after 25 years in the Navy, he retired from the Navy. He worked 25 years driving a tractor trailer for the post office and retired from that. So after 50 years of service to America, I remember when he retired from the Navy and I was still on active duty. And he was like, oh, shit, I don't know what to do with myself. You getting up every day, going to work. I ain't got nothing to do. I said, retire up for a minute.
Right.
But it's like, I need something to do to make me feel relevant.
Absolutely.
And I keep saying, but babe, even when he retired in 4 years ago, in 2020, I say, baby, you've done 50 years. You've worked 50 years. Like, you've earned your keep. Chill out for a minute. Sit down, do nothing. If you don't know how to do that.
I don't either. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, because I don't know how to do that. I would die. Because I have no interest in watching television. Now, television is creepy. I mean, it's just too much stuff getting into my head. I have no intentions on just running the streets all day doing, going shopping, going this. No, it's very boring. I have to have purpose. And every human being has to have purpose. Right.
Mm-hmm. And right now, because of his, not just the cognitive decline with the form of dementia he has, but also his other physical, life-threatening ailments, he is unable.
Okay.
To do a lot of things. He just can't.
There are a lot of things. There are a lot of things that can be done to create a sense of purpose. Being a veteran and being exposed to a lot of Vietnam veterans in particular that were very severely wounded and mentally and physically, I learned in seeing them and their behavior and the things that they learned to do through therapies and things to have value in their lives, that it is totally possible, but it has to be done. It has to be done.
Right.
And so my point is, if only doing hand exercises, hand motions, turning that into a beat is giving him something to do, him bringing you a glass of water or your house shoes or whatever, even if he brings you the wrong shoes, even if he brings you one shoe, I'm just saying in general that there are things that we can think of, knowing the individual that we're with, that will allow them to do something.
Oh, with that kind of stuff, that's our everyday interaction. I wasn't even thinking. I was thinking organized stuff, but yeah, we do that stuff all day, every day anyway. That's the normal routine for us. He has his little things that he does. He likes to do. He's still going poop patrol in the yard. So
Okay.
That, yeah, he has his things that he still does, and I have him do. For anytime I go out running errands and I come back home, he comes straight to the garage, open the trunk, and want to help me bring stuff in the house. So he's still doing that kind of stuff and helping me fold laundry and stuff. Yeah.
I appreciate that, and I'm glad to know that, and that is a wonderful thing. I want you, though, to understand that as time progresses, his ability maybe to do those things will lessen. And so that is why it is important to be introduced, if it's only to one or two different modalities that will help both of you maintain some quality of life during that transition. And so,
I get it.
yeah, because we are expecting them. There may become a day he's just not able to come to the car and get the groceries out.
There are some days I don't want him to because some of his health symptoms is like, no, you need to just keep staying because he's a fall risk.
Okay.
So I'll be like, you just sit down. I don't want you up and down because no, it's safer for him to just keep still.
Well,
and not move around.
Right. We'll talk better when we're one-on-one about the conversations of what to say and how you might revisit some things. And I got to say this is tough, but some of us women in particular, especially those of us who've been in the military, who have been in police service, have worked in prisons and things like that, we have a different way of communicating. There's no...
Stop it. Don't even go there. I already know what you...
All right. I'm not going to... I'm just saying.
I don't sugarcoat.
No, exactly. And so
I know.
we need to revisit our dialogue because as time moves and because of the condition and how they process or not process, it becomes extremely important that our tone change with that change.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely correct because we don't want to be inflammatory to them.
Exactly.
And we don't want to come off being too harsh.
Exactly.
And cold.
Exactly.
And unsympathetic. Especially about the people around, because they don't know the dynamics or anything, and they look at you. Why are you talking to that?
Right, you're abusive. Well, the other thing is just thinking, this understanding how tender men are, and even though they're strong and they're so helpful, but emotionally and their image is very fragile, and so how we speak to them changes everything about them. Them. And so that only increases when there's a physical or mental ailment that makes that even worse because now I'm not feeling like I'm a 100% man. And that's, for male ego, that's not good at all.
But, anybody with any adult, as you get towards the twilight of your life, if you will, you want to feel validated and loved and cared. And people still need to hold them, touch them. Touch is very
touch
important.
Is extremely important.
The right person makes everything better. Everything else in the relationship may be gone, but you know what? You can still cuddle. And that makes all the difference in the world because they feel that love. And you can feel it from them, too, even though that's maybe all they can do. But that's enough. Well,
it is enough, and it is enough, and then it's not. So here's an I'll just use myself. My spouse and I had a terrific sex life. We had the kind of sex life where the cats in the neighborhood would come around the window, and birds would fall out the tree. What I'm trying to say is, once that's gone, it's gone. And so when you become a caregiver or partner, that's at sexual energy there, on my part wasn't there anymore, because now I'm in a different role. And that was one of the most awkward feelings.
Lord, I'm a caregiver now. I don't even feel romantic about it no more.
No, you don't feel romantic. You feel tired, because after you get through going to all those doctor's appointments, staying on the phone, changing pharmaceuticals, and then, doing the maintenance and preparing the food and making sure that they're okay.
And you wore out.
And then when you get in the bed, somebody is whispering in your ear. You're like, nah, I don't think so. But there's this part that I have said before, and I don't think I've said it on my podcast. I was interviewed by someone who asked me about sexuality on another interview. Very often what happens is that persons with dementia have what's called hypersexuality. And so they become aggressive in their pursuit of sex. And it's some of them, and it's not because they're really, as we say, horny. It's because that's a part of the condition, and that's how it plays out.
Right.
But when you don't respond to them, that creates a sense of agitation, because nobody wants to be rejected, no matter what.
Exactly.
Worst feeling in the world ever is to be rejected. So, and so that poses some difficult moments in a spousal or mate relationship. Very difficult, because as a human, you want that. You want it. You just can't. So let's do this. Let's move away from dementia, because one thing I want to tell you, I know for sure that dementia is just something that happens to a life, because there's a whole bunch of other parts of our lives that's going on, and dementia then just plucks itself down into our worlds. So, yeah. So you said your husband has some other health conditions. Those don't go away because you get dementia.
No.
They don't go away.
But they can know what they are. They can make the dementia worse.
Yes. Absolutely. What would you like to leave the audience with that might be an audience of dementia caregivers or care partners? What do you want them to know?
Okay. First of all, pay very close attention to their behavior, their thoughts, what they say, what they don't say, what they don't do. If you suspect it, take them to their primary care provider and talk to their doctor about it. They can do a test. It's very simple in office. I've had that test because I'm so afraid I was going to get it, because my daddy had it, his mother had it. And I'm like, and my husband have it, so I know, let me check to make sure I don't get that. At least I have a baseline. But if you're with someone, caring for someone, a family member or someone with any form of dementia, I suggest, first of all, do your own due diligence and get all the information you can for yourself and the person that you're going to be taking care of. I found books. I talk to doctors. I go to the National Institutes of Health website. I go to all kinds of different websites that specializes in cognitive decline, dementia, Alzheimer's, to arm myself with the tools needed to help me and the patient navigate this. Because if you're caring for someone with dementia, I don't care what form of dementia it is, how you react, respond, and interact with that patient makes all the difference in the world, because they have no control over anything that's happening to them. Whatever's in their mind, that is their truth. What you see, they're just acting out their truth in their head. It's how you respond to it that makes all the freaking difference in the world. Also, please, caregivers, we got to take care of ourselves too. Do something for yourself. Get out, take yourself to dinner, go to a concert, whatever you like to do. Make time to do that at least once a week. More often if you can, and exercise, because that's a great stress buster. Exercise. Go to the gym, work out, get it out, release it.
Those are all fine suggestions, Linda. I thank you very much. We've been talking with my good friend Linda Simpson. I hope that you have some takeaways. I certainly do. I thank you, Linda, for being with me on today, and I look forward to talking to you further in the future.
Well, thank you for having me, Ellie. It was great talking to you, too. You have a great rest of your day.
All right, dear. I don't want to close another show without giving a huge shout out to the New York City Podcast Network and all the work that they perform to help us as podcasters stay on top of every single aspect of podcasting. And listen, I have heard you. I heard you say that you appreciate my work raising awareness about dementia and dementia caregivers, but you feel abandoned and you want me to talk about a lot of different things like I used to. So I'm going back to that format. I will always include a bit about dementia and dementia caregiving because it's a silent health crisis, one that has disrupted my life and the lives of many, and it's just my way of giving back. So bear with me with that. I want to thank the great state of New York and my New York City listeners for really taking my show to another level. I so appreciate your listenership, and I look forward to doing a meet and greet with you sometime in October, so stay tuned for that update. Up is not just a destination, it's a mindset, a commitment to growth and progress. Embrace it, and you'll find that even in your lowest moments, you're still rising. So look up, get up, stay up, and help somebody else to get up. Remember that any part of up is higher than down.
To follow up, make comments, discuss today's podcast, or find out how you can become a guest and share your victory over a negative life event, follow L.A. Walker. Up is Higher Than Down on Facebook. Look up, get up, stay up. Remember, any part of up is higher than down.